Hey everyone, welcome to the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Custom Track Showcase for November 2023. If you want to see the entire series, click the icon on the top right corner of your screen or the link in the description. There are 3 tracks I wasn't able to play this month. Wii Drive Ruins, as there wasn't enough updates to justify its re-inclusion, and GCN Luigi's Mansion and 3DS Woohoo Town as racetracks, as they felt like they could be featured in their own video. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Alright, another batch, another set of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Custom Tracks. This one is Mumu Farm, which is a track I haven't seen in ages, and I don't think ever actually got ported to Mario Kart Tour. So, I think it's one of the only tracks that didn't get ported to Mario Kart Tour, I think. This is made by SniperShell, who has, as I keep mentioning every single time he pops up on this series, he improves every single time I see him. Like, you know, he started out with a shortcut that you couldn't really see properly, and now he's making stuff like this. It looks really, really nice. Now, the one thing about this track that kind of lets it down is it's Moo Moo Farm. You can't really do too much to Moo Moo Farm. You can't really make it interesting, which is fine. It's fair. Like, you know, it's meant to be a simple track. It's meant to ease beginners into the game, which is what, you know, beginner tracks should do. I really like the look. I like the modern, you know, Moo Moo Meadows kind of look this track has. I just really like how it drives too. It's not like super slippery. The Monty Moles aren't like numerous. They don't get in your way. If you think a trap that a lot of people might have fallen into, it just looks really, really pretty. It's like a mix of Moo Moo Meadows and Yoshi Valley in a way, and I really, really like that. So, you know, it's a simple track. It drives really nicely, and sometimes that's all you really need for a custom track. You know, it just drives really nicely. And again, really impressed with SniperShell's improvement over the past year. And I can't wait to see what he does next. This is a pretty good start to the video. Well done. Okay, now this is an interesting one. This is another Rainbow Road by supersmashpastel, who seems to do a lot of these Rainbow Road tracks. This is GCN Rainbow Road in Mario Kart Wii Style. So, obviously it's the original track. It's not like the one in CSGP where you have like the zipper ramps around there so you don't fall off. This is pure, original GCN Rainbow Road, but in a different style. In the Wii graphics, the Wii floor, the earth down below as well, which is a pretty nice touch. I'm pretty sure the original took place in, above Mushroom City. Correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Now, the one thing I will say out of the way, this is a track that, again, should not be 3 laps. Like, it's always been a sticking point with me that a track is just too long for its own good. And unfortunately, once again, like, GCN Rainbow Road, I understand the need for, you know, being staying true to the original, but like when you have a track that takes like a minute and like a bit per lap, you don't need to stick with that. You know, you can do what you did with or what Nintendo did with 3DS Rainbow Road or N64 Rainbow Road. You know, you can make them one-lappers. If you really want to, you can put them into various sections. I don't think there'd be any issue with that if that was the case. But, you know, again, I understand the whole need of, like, being original. It's just, I'm not a fan of having to drive a track for, like, you know, 10 minutes, it feels like, every single time I play it. I'd also widen this section out a little bit because, like, I imagine playing this in 200cc would be an absolute nightmare getting down there. But I mean, other than that, like, I love the Wii style. It does look very, very faithful to how Wii looks. It kind of has the, almost like the GameCube, railings, though, as opposed to the star ones in Mario Kart Wii. But again, I don't know how easy that is to port over. I don't know if it's just a textural thing or if it's like an object map or whatever. And also the other thing I would say is that the boost ramps, the boost ramps, I would say, like, their animations are a bit too quick. I think, like, it's enough where, like, it could be actually fairly dangerous if they were, like, any bigger. So I'd maybe slow down the animation for them to make it, like, you know, look a little bit better and to not risk a Pokemon Porygon situation. But no, other than that, I think the track itself is really nice. Obviously, there are things I'd change with it. I would change it to, again, like, maybe 2 laps or something. I'd accept that. But yeah, it's a cool project, and it looks very much like a Mario Kart Wii custom track. Kind of like one of the ones that you find maybe in, like, I don't know, 2015 or something. I feel like this would maybe be in the range of. Awesome. Oh, that's a problem. Maybe have the, oh dear. Okay, so the glider ramp also doesn't work properly. That's good to know. But yeah, maybe fix that too. I didn't actually notice that when testing. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty good. I like it. Just there's some fine tuning that needs to be done. I think it's fair to say. All right, we have a new modern N64 Warrior Stadium, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, the one thing about N64 Warrior Stadium that's always bothered me is the fact that it is just way too long. Like, the track is insanely long. It's like any of the Rainbow Roads that pop up. Like, you know, it's way too long. Not as long as N64 Rainbow Road takes on 50cc, like in the original, because that takes actually 10 minutes. I've tested it. But, like, this looks manageable. Like, it still feels, you know, it's still long, like the original is. But it doesn't feel that long. I guess because, like, the track just looks so radically different. I love the look of this track. Like, I love the anti-gravity section up here. I don't know what really the point of having all those coins up there are. You could probably just have, like, a little curve around the bottom. But yeah, I like how it still takes elements of, you know, DS Warrior Stadium and kind of, like, puts that in the old version. And I like the sunset theme. I think the sunset theme is very cool. I think Warrior Stadiums have always had, like, you know, a certain flair to them. Also, I love the wheelie monster trucks. That's always a good sign. I don't know why you have, like, the Goomba, like, cardboard or, like, wooden, like, pallets, like, in the middle of the road. I don't really just see I just don't really see a point of them being there. Like, I guess it's for, like, you know, to add an obstacle there. But, like, it just kind of feels like they're placed there for the sake of it. Like, you maybe put them down for maybe a shortcut or something. But yeah, I don't know. Other than that, like, I think the track itself is really cool. I love the, you know, I love it when creators take elements from actual, like, levels. You know, like the underwater section and the mud bit from DS Warrior Stadium, and also, like, they took the elevator section, excuse me, from GBA Mario Circuit, and they kind of put it together into one track. And with the way the track looks, it just all works out. It's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it's a really good recreation of N64 Warrior Stadium. I love the creativity behind this, and that's a theme that you'll find in a few of these tracks this month. But yeah, it's very, very cool. I love the new look for N64 Warrior Stadium, and yeah, it's fantastic. I don't know what else I can say. It's just a really, really good, solid track. I like it. All right, we have a SitBar track. He's back. Torrential Treetops. Now, there are two versions of this track. One of them doesn't have the thunderstorm, and the other one does. I feel like with the name Torrential Treetops, you kind of have to have the thunderstorm in it. I love tracks with rain in them. I think it's it adds, like, a cool element, like a cool spark to the track that, like, not many other tracks kind of utilize, apart from maybe, like, you know, GBA Luigi Circuit. But yeah, this is a very short track. I like the look of it. You know, it's very, you know, it reminds me almost of, like, Battle for Storm Hill from Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, off the top of my head. And also, like, it's like if that crossed over with the jungle, like, treetops golf level in Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. That kind of, like, it's like a fusion of that, I guess. It's very short. It's not like other SitBar tracks that you may or may not see. But it's like, again, it's a very simple, solid track. Again, I love the way it looks. I like the glider section around there. I don't really see the point of it. Oh no, sorry, I do remember the point of it. There's a mushroom around there that you can bounce off and get a double box. Which again, like, I think is again, it's cool that you can utilize the whole level to make something, like, unique and fun. Like, the two routes don't really do too much. It doesn't make too much of a difference. You really kind of, like, I don't actually know which route is, you know, faster per se. But I guess the difference for one of them is that you miss you know, you miss the door box there if you take the right route. If you take the left route, you'll be able to get the double box with the mushroom in it. But yeah, overall, again, very fun, solid, simple track, and it's great. Like, it plays really nicely. There's no, like, you know, play in it. It's nice. But yeah, it's really cool. Again, SitBar with another winner. It's brilliant. Alright, we have the only track from Mario Kart Tour, the only original track from Mario Kart Tour that didn't make it into 8 Deluxe, Chrono Pipeline. I've shown this track off quite a few times before. This is a version by Polmo, and it's very good. Like, it looks near enough identical to the tour version. I love the, again, like, oh my god, I forgot about the, I forgot about the like the electrodrome throttle plants around. Now the thing is, like, I haven't played this track in Tour ever. So you know, in terms of you know, how similar the gameplay is to Tour, again, I can't really say too much on that. What I will say is that the main issue with this track I have is that it's the same problem with other versions of this track that are there. Like, that last turn is very, very hard to make. I would maybe fix that post-haste, if possible. I don't know if you can, like, widen the section out of it. I don't know if this is, like, a straight port from Tour. It looks like it's not. I guess, like, I think some of it might have been custom. But yeah, I like the idea of this track. Like, the two separate paths are really cool. Lead to different areas of the track, I think it's great. Again, I don't know how it would have worked in 8 Deluxe, like, officially. I guess we'll never really know the answer to that question. Maybe we'll get into Mario Kart 9. Like, who really knows? But yeah, again, there's not really much I can say about this track that hasn't really been said already. It looks really pretty. It's a shame we didn't get into 8 Deluxe. But, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And overall, I think the track is really cool. I just wish that that last turn was a little bit easier. And, you know, some of these corners, admittedly, are quite tight. But again, if that's how it was in the original, then fine. It's just maybe, like, widen the track out a little bit more so you're not, like, you know, struggling to, you know, make these turns. Or maybe if it fixes it, just, like, make these sections anti-gravity so you're not, like, you know, constantly hitting the walls and, like, struggling to, like, get up them. Because, again, some of these turns are quite difficult to make. You know, even without tricking. So yeah, overall, I really like the track. Just maybe widen it out a little bit and make sure that ending turn is a little bit easier to make. Other than that, it's a great track. I love it. Okay, just right off the bat, this track looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks so good. I'm absolutely in love with the way this track looks. This is Frappe Snowland, which again is a track that hasn't really appeared in Mario Kart for what feels like a really long time. I can't remember if it was in 7. I don't think it was in 7. It may well have been. I honestly can't remember. It was in DS, I remember that, and obviously it was in N64. But it hasn't really made an appearance, like, ever since. And I feel like, you know, this track has a lot of, like, really good opportunities to, like, kind of have an impact. Because, like, you know, I love snow tracks, especially this time of year. It is nearly Christmas, by the time I'm recording this. So, you know, this is definitely getting me in the extra mood for Christmas. Now, there are a couple of issues I have with this track. First of all, I have the same issue with the snowmen here as I do with the random Goomba like statues in N64 Warrior Stadium. The only problem is there's more of them, and I feel like, again, it's just putting them down there for the sake of putting them down there. Like, there's no real point adding obstacles unnecessarily. I think if you're going to put them anywhere, like, just put them in the middle of, like, the track, like, you know, where they usually should be, and which they've already done. Like, it's fine. You know, you don't really need to spruce up that last area in general. It's a really good, like, you know, intense way of, like, finishing the track off. My second problem with the track is up here. Because of the glider ramp here, it takes you into the sky, and it gets you out of bounds. And that's definitely not what's meant to happen. I imagine you're meant to fly through this area. You know, you can skip a lot of the snowmen around here. The only problem is the out of bounds boundary is way too high. So you might want to like increase that a little bit, or just change the glider path a little bit, so that can maybe fix that problem. But again, other than that, like, the track is absolutely stunning. The lighting on this track is really, really cool. I just love how, like, glistening everything is. It's so nice. And again, like, this has really just got me in the mood for Christmas. So, you know, well done in terms of that effect. The track looks really, really pretty. I love the lighting, as I said earlier. Just, again, fix the glider ramp and maybe remove some of the snowmen. After that, it's just a very, very good track. I really like it. And, again, Merry Early Christmas, everybody. Alright, we have another Mario Kart arcade track. This one is Kingdom Way. It looks so pretty. Now, my main thing for this track that I really like is, like, I have played the arcade games before, and it's very, very fun. Obviously, you go, like, a bit faster in this compared to, in arcade rather, compared to 8 Deluxe, because the track itself is scaled to be pretty much exactly, like, how it was in arcade. And I think in arcade, it's, like, I can't actually remember how many laps it is, but I feel like it may well be 2 laps from the original. But again, it do go a bit faster than this. It's a very simple layout, which is fine. Arcade's main thing is that it doesn't really focus necessarily on gameplay and making gameplay, like, innovative and necessarily, like, you know, maybe not exciting, but, like, because, like, the game is exciting, but I think innovative is the right word there. They just focus mostly on the visuals and getting people to go, wow, this track is incredible. I want to stick around and keep playing and, like, see what other tracks there are. And in that respect, this track completely, like, it homages that to a T. It's so pretty. I love the way it looks. Arcade tracks are just perfect. Perfect, I tell you, for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's so great. I like the Bowser's Castle section in it. That's always cool. Seeing that reminds me now more of like the Super Mario Bros. Movie inside Bowser's Castle. I like the way they get around the like the transition kind of period, because like in the original you like go through a pipe and then you go back out the pipe again. Obviously you can't really do that in 8 Deluxe. There's no such thing as teleportation in this game without using some really weird glider physics. But I like the way that they use the pipe to kind of like, you know, extend the section around. And I believe if you go left, that's an entirely different track entirely. It's like, I'll give you an example. Like everybody, like a lot of people know GP Mario Beach, mostly from Mario Kart Wii CCP. But like, there's a route that's blocked off, and that route is a shorter route where you cut off the big like turn, like you cut off the big straightaway and like the big turn like in the middle. That's called Mario Highway. And then the track we all know was GP Mario Beach. I imagine it's the same thing with Kingdom West. I think each track, there's like 6 themes, and I think each theme has like 2 different variants to it. But yeah, overall, like, you know, it's very, very pretty. I kind of wish there was more going on enemy-wise, but again, that's not really the point of tracks like this. The whole point is for it to look pretty and drive well, and in that respect, it achieves both its goals. So, you know, I can't really complain too much. Again, it looks absolutely stunning, and yeah, I can't wait to see if any more arcade tracks get ported into 8 Deluxe, because if they look as pretty as this, I am all for it. Okay, now this one is interesting. It is called simply, pardon the pun, Simple Circuit. Like, and, you know, from the minimap, it's very simple. Very small, too. Now, I believe this is originally from Street Pass. And that's news to me, because I played a lot of Street Pass on 3DS, oh my god, when I was a kid. And I don't remember this ever, like, you know, being around. I've never remembered this, like, being around anywhere. But yeah, it's, you know, it's a fun track. I would say maybe upscale it a little bit more. I understand, like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, it's like toy slot car racing. And, like, you know, I understand that. But, like, again, maybe just making these turns a little bit wider would help in terms of drivability. But I do like the tone of looking around. It reminds me a lot of, like, the slot car derby in Mario Odyssey, in a sense. Because, like, you know, that's also, you know, quite small and a bit, like, you know, a bit mad. Like, yeah, that one turn is extremely hard to make. But, like, yeah, I like the creativity with the idea. Like, again, it's a track that, like, I don't think many people would really look at for, like, inspiration, maybe. Street Pass is definitely a choice in terms of, you know, inspiration for tracks, but I like it. I'm all for stuff like this. And, yeah, again, maybe upscaling it a bit would help, but I like the idea, and at the end of the day, you know, you can't really expect more than that. It's a fun idea, and, yeah, it's cool. I like it. Just, again, maybe upscale it a little bit more. Oh, man. Okay. This DS Airship Fortress looks, just right off the bat, incredible. There's no other way of describing it. It looks so good. Now, I don't think this is, like, a version explicitly from Tour. It may well be, but, like, I think for the first time that I've seen in one of these, because, like, this isn't the first time DS Airship Fortress has featured in this series, but I think for the first time, there are, you know, like, actual cannonballs that are firing. You know, I understand it's the pinballs, but, like, still, that's really, really cool. This tower looks just insane. Like, I love the way this track looks. And the lasers, and the hammers. There's so much going on. You know, it's way more involved than it used to be. Now, the thing is, like, the difference between, like, putting those obstacles down the spiral compared to, you know, like, the snowmen and the, what's it called? The Goomba, like, statues, like, the little cardboard bits, you know, on, like, random bits of the track, is that, like, there's actually a purpose, I feel like, to putting them there. It adds, like, another layer of difficulty that make sense, and it feels like they have a purpose there. Now, unfortunately, this does have a couple of my least favorite tropes in Mario Kart tracks, like fire pillars firing out from places you won't necessarily expect. That's always annoying. And also, like, you know, I feel like these lasers, like, while it's cool they're there, it's a little bit annoying to avoid them. Like, a little bit. Also, that hammer there, very hard to see going around there. And then the air pocket. I don't really understand why it's there. Like, you know, I understand, you know, it's for a shortcut, but it's like, I've tried accessing that shortcut in time trials, and it's really hard to do that. I just don't get why it's there, unless I'm taking the shortcut wrong or something. But, like, again, I love everything about this track in terms of, like, its look. Like, again, there's so much to like about it. Again, like, the actual, like, airship is cool. Like, the fortress look is amazing. I love the Goomba Tower, like, just in the background there, having, like, you know, a bit of a laugh around there. The lasers and stuff, again, like, while some of them are hard to see, are very cool. You know, it's just... It's definitely the prettiest airship fortress I've ever seen. And for that, like, that's a count for something. It drives really nicely apart from the fire pillars. And yeah, overall, it is an absolute triumph. I really, really like this track. Definitely the best DS airship fortress I've seen so far. Okay, now, admittedly, the backstory for this track kind of confuses me. Or it confused me at first. I didn't really know where it was from. So this is Skiploid Circuit, which I believe is based off an OC. I don't think it's from any game, but, like, I like that there's, you know, a character, you know, there are OCs that have, you know, circuits dedicated to them. I think that's actually, like, I think that's cool, you know. It comes from the heart, especially when it's, like, an OC that, like, you know, you care about. I like that. I like there are certain inspired that, because, again, it comes from the heart, you're passionate about it, and you want to make it, like, look and feel as good as it can to fit the theme of that character, which I think is kind of cool. Now, I don't know what Skiploid is like. I don't know his personality. I don't know him like that. I don't know him, you know, I've never met him in person. But, like, you know, I think that, you know, from looking at the track, it's quite, like, you know, I feel like Skiploid would be, like, just on the circuit alone, Skiploid would be, like, the main character of whatever story or game that they're from. And, you know, I love the statue of Skiploid in the middle as well. That's really cool as well. The various, like, stores, I'm pretty sure they got them from, like Tokyo Blur, I'm pretty sure, which, again, fits the theme. I like the giant city theme. Tracks which, like, again, have really good environmental backgrounds are really cool to me, again. And animation, too, makes track feel more alive and vibrant, and as you'll know from watching this series, if you've subscribed to the channel for a while, you'll know that, like, I love that about tracks. And, like, even, like, the spotlights on the background, you know, even though it's not at night, I still think it worked with the track. But yeah, it's very simple, very much like, you know, not really much in the way of, like, you know, threatening you or anything like that. No real shortcuts to speak of either. It feels like a Mario Kart Tour track, and that's fine. You know, again, the fact that, you know, it's an OC, to me, signals that they've poured a lot of effort into making this track feel like, you know, how it should be in their mind for that character. And, you know, just looking at the track again, I sense that they've done the job they wanted to do. Again, very simple, not entirely like my style. I would prefer if there were some more enemies around or something like that, or like some oil slicks possibly. If you don't add like enemies to kind of take away from that kind of visual, or like kind of the vision you want. But like other than that, I think the track is actually quite nice. It's very relaxing to drive on. At the end of the day, sometimes that's all you need. I like that. And the last track, made in November, is a returning champion, Squadaloo, with Dry Dry Falls, or as it's known on the course select screen, The Desert. This track just looks so cool right off the bat. It's so just detailed. Now look, there's loads of like influences I can see from this track. I don't know why I get like Paper Mario Origami King like from this, or like whatever the origami game was called. I think it's called Origami King. I haven't played in ages. I love going down here. Like, that's a section. The thing is, okay, there's a lot of this track that like will go by quite quickly, but like what I really like about Squadaloo's tracks is there's a lot that like there's a lot of things that he does that not many other people will think of. Like, you know, the split section like into an underground section near the end might be confusing at first. But like at the same time, you know, that like a down arrow might be like really easy to miss, but at the same time, like it's so incredibly creative. I love that. Also, the little shortcut here after the glider section is always a nice touch. It drives super nicely, so, like, it drives really, really nicely. Because, again, I'm not usually a huge fan of, like, tracks which, like, where you slip and slide all over the place. So I like tracks which, like, because it feels like, you know, if you're sliding all over the place, it feels like you're not fully in control of your vehicle. So if you fall off the track, it doesn't feel like your fault, it feels like the track's fault. But, like, here, like, it's not too bad. Now, this section here reminds me of, I can't remember the track, or the level name, but it's one of the desert levels, like one of the ruin levels in Sonic Adventure 2, where you go into an underground section, you go down through a slide, kind of similar to this. It's very, very cool. I just love the way this track looks. And again, like, I've played a few tracks with, like, where you go up here. Glacier Mine from Mario Kart Wii GP is one that comes to mind. Also Shy Guy Falls, if you want, like, an actual, like, Mario Kart 8 equivalent. But yeah, like, this track's so cool. Like, you know, I feel like this section here is a bit difficult. Like, you know, you can't make that with a... You can probably make it with a mushroom, but it's very, very hard to make it with a mushroom. It's super hard, as a matter of fact. But yeah, it's a very, very cool track. It's very fun. And yeah, I have absolutely no problems with this track whatsoever. It's very, very fun. It looks superb. And it's incredibly creative. I'm in love with this track. Squadaloo creates another banger, as always. And it's a good way to close out November. And my favourite track made in November is... Dry Dry Falls. While there were some tracks that innovated classic tracks in a way I really enjoyed, Squadaloo does it once again with fantastic original creation. The track's just incredibly well made and creative, and I love that Squadaloo takes you on a journey throughout different environments throughout the level. It might not be perfect in terms of drivability, and I'm not usually a fan of slippery tracks, but this track was too good to not put in the top spot, which is why Dry Dry Falls is my favourite track made in November. What was your favourite track made this month? Let me know in the comments, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all very soon. Peace.